Hari Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Satchidananda Rupaya Vishwotpattyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Sri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Yam Praurajantam Petakrutyam Dvaipayano Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Binedo Tam Sarvabhuta Hrudayam Munimanatosmi. Janmadyasya yatotvayaditarata Charteshvabhigneswarat Tene Brahma Hrudaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yatsorayaha Tejo Varimrudam Yada Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrusha Dhamna Sena Sada Nirastakuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye. Om. Hari Om. I welcome you all to today's session of Bhagavatam. So there's a little bit of a power problem today. So I thought instead of taking chance, we will shift it for today. Now, last week we were discussing about Yudhishthira Maharaj crowned Parikshith Maharaj as the king of the whole, as the emperor of the whole earth, and then he left all of them, all Pandavas left the Hastinapura. Now Parikshit, being a great devotee, is very dedicated to the Brahmanas and Bhagavan and followed whatever the instructions given according to the Shastra by the Brahmanas, and he was ruling well. And he also conducted 3 Ashwamedha Yagas with the help of Krupacharya. He realized the Kali has slowly started infiltrating his kingdom. So how does he know that? Because people have started eating meat. There's illicit sex, gambling and intoxication. Being a Kshatriya, they don't, as soon as they see the problem, they don't just jump in and sort out that problem only, because they think better. They know, they want to investigate, they want to see where the problem is coming and how to eradicate the whole thing. So that is why he was waiting. He said, I will just wait and see how it is, and then one day when it is suitable, I will take care of it. So meanwhile, he wanted to conquer the earth. Now where is the need for him to conquer the earth? Because Yudhishthira enthroned him as the emperor of the whole world. Now where is the need for him to do? Because he wanted to do it. So he wanted to show the supremacy. One second. So he wanted to show the supremacy over all the kingdoms and then also want to collect the taxes. So that is why he was going everywhere to subjugate them. But all of them know the lineage of the Parikshith Maharaj, and out of gratitude and devotion for Pandavas, and Pandavas being the great friend of Sri Krishna, so they all welcomed him, and whatever presents they could give and the taxes they could offer, they have offered him with gratitude and the great respect. So he was very happy, and then he was traveling back. On the way, so what is happening in the Hastinapura is Dharma took the form of a bull. Dharma Devata took the form of a bull and came to the Bhudevi, to Bhuloka. And there he saw a cow crying. And Dharma Devata was quite surprised, because cow crying is a bad sign for the country. So he went to the cow and he asked, the cow is actually, it is Bhumata who took the form of a cow. So he went to the cow and he asked that, "O goddess, O Mother Earth, who is in the form of cow, why are you looking so pale and crying?" And now please carefully listen to all the questions, okay? And all the questions are just like what is actually happening around, right? It is not, we are not sitting and talking about the news, but what is actually mentioned here 5,000 years ago is actually happening now. Now what did Dharmadevata ask? He looked at the cow and he said, "Oh Mata, why are you crying? You look so pale. What happened? What is the reason for your grief? Is there any problem with your health? Have you lost your near and dear ones? Or are they all away from you?" Now isn't it very common in Kali Yuga, both husband and wife, they work in different places. It's a very common thing. And the parents are away from the children. So this is the nature of the Kali Yuga. The opportunities are like that. So some of them are forced to go out, and some of them out of choice, they do it for a certain period of time. So he is asking, have you lost your near and dear ones? Are they away from you? And are you sad for me because I have lost 3 legs? So what are the 3 legs? What are the 4 legs of the Dharma Devata? The 4 legs of the Dharma Devata are austerities, cleanliness, compassion and truthfulness. And Dharma Devata had lost austerities, compassion and cleanliness. All 3 had gone, and only 1 leg, which is truthfulness. So in Kali Yuga, Dharma Devata is standing on truthfulness only, that is the only leg. And that is why it's very, very important we stick to truthfulness. So only when we are straightforward, when we are not afraid of anything, we speak the Satyam. Okay. So our Guruji used to insist on that. The other 3 are difficult, and Bhagavad Shastra says it's very important we stick to the Satyam. So this is why it is very important we all stick to the Satyam. That is the only leg left over. So he is asking, Are you sad for me because I've lost all 3 legs? Are you in anxiety because the meat eaters are going to kill you for the sake of your meat? So it is the cow's meat, it's the beef Dharmadevata was referring to. The 5th question is, are you sad because demigods won't receive their sacrificial offerings, which results in the drought, famine, and this will lead to the poverty and the hunger? Now, is it not happening? The sacrifices are not being performed, and if we don't perform the yajnas, the devatas won't get their offerings, and if they don't get the offerings, they will become weak and they won't be able to perform their activity, which is maintaining the seasons, which is giving us the timely rain in adequate quantities, in the prescribed quantities, not just coming in one go as the floods and the other time there is nothing. It is like ativrishti and anavrishti. It is because we are not carrying out these sacrificial offerings. So it is very important, if any organization is carrying out these yajnas, please take part in that. If you can't go, at least send the donations. So we should encourage them, we should support them. And the 6th question is, are you sad because women and children are going to be tortured by unscrupulous men? Are we not witnessing it now? See, this was written 5,000 years ago. Then the seventh question is, are you unhappy to see the goddess of learning mishandled by Brahmanas who had taken up all sorts of sinful activities? Okay. So I had a patient few years ago, and who is a Brahmin lady, and her husband used to finance the film industry, and he had lost lot of money. Okay, so he had lost awful lot of money. Then you know what profession he took? He had built he had got a restaurant which is very close to my house. That restaurant sells the meat because this area is very close to Ramaya Medical College, and there are a lot of students, especially many NRIs are there. So, and these students, they go out for eating, and that is their socializing. Okay, nowadays people eat a lot just for socializing. So he had started this non-veg, a very posh restaurant. And I asked him, now is it not against your Brahminical culture? He said, "Yen madad madam, what do I do, madam? I lost so much of money. But I eat at home only. I eat only rice and sambar at home." Okay. So then I thought, see, this is the effect of the Kali, and we cannot blame anybody about it. Okay. So in the beginning of the Bhagavatam itself, it said, we should not hate anybody. We should not find fault with anybody. So it is the circumstances which is making the people think like that. So this is the effect of the Kali. And then the 8th question is, are you sorry to see genuine Brahmanas being forced to take shelter of the kings who have no respect for the Brahminical culture. And number 9, are you worried? Those unruly administrators no longer follow the principles. See, if anybody is holding a big post, it's very important they should follow the ideals, and that's what Krishna says. Whatever the leader, whatever the prominent person does in the society, rest of them will follow, Arjuna. So it's very important. You are holding a very important post. You are a Kshatriya, you are the leader. You cannot just run away from this. If you do that, the others also will neglect their duty. Okay. So this is what he is saying now. In the 9th question is, are you worried? Those unruly administrators no longer follow the principles of regulated eating, sleeping and mating and unrestricted activities. Okay. Number 10. Lord Sri Krishna incarnated to relieve your burden. Are you crying because Sri Krishna had left and all your good fortune has been taken away the day he left the earth? Now the Bhumata in the form of cow started talking. O Dharma, you are maintained on all your 4 legs in the previous yugas. Now Krishna has concluded all his leelas and he had left the body. Now Kali has taken over and its influence is spreading everywhere. So because of this, I am grieved. I was the most fortunate planet in the universe because Sri Krishna walked on me. When he walked, I was covered with the dust under his feet. But now he had gone. When he was in Vrindavan, when he was in Hastinapura, when he was in Dwaraka, when he was in Kurukshetra, no matter where he was, my whole being was covered with the dust under his feet. Krishna also visited the higher planets, but he had spent very little time with them. But he had spent most of his time in sanctifying me, and that is why I am so sad. I am grieved because of this. So now the cow and the bull were conversing by the river Saraswati. And Parikshith Maharaj was just passing by, and there he saw a ghastly scene. There was a man who dressed up as a king, and this man was kicking the cow. He was kicking the cow on the legs, and he was also kicking the bull, which already has got only one leg. Looking at that, Parikshit Maharaj became very, very angry. And the cow started crying because she already lost calf. On top of it, this man is beating the cow on the legs, and she is already distressed, weak, with full of tears in the eyes, and she was hungry and she was She was hankering for just some grass in the field. That's all she was looking for. But this man comes and beats the cow on the leg itself. And Maharaja Parikshith, he became extremely angry. He said, "Who are you? How dare you behave like this? You dressed up as a king, but look at your behavior. You are worse than the lowest of the low human being. How dare you kill? You are trying to kill this helpless creature. You are a sinner, and nobody is allowed to do this kind of sins in my kingdom. And if anyone behaves like this, it reflects very, very badly on the king, and the king won't get good birth, and his future generation also will not have any good fortune. And not only that, his ancestors, his previous generations will have a black mark because such and such an atrocity has happened in his kingdom. Okay? In no way I am going to let you do this. So he was about to take a sword, and he immediately came and spoke to the bull. He asked the bull, "Who had cut off your legs? Who will have the heart to conduct such a heinous crime? In my dynasty, if somebody does that, I am going to punish. It doesn't matter, even if it is a devata from the heaven." And then Dharma said, "See, your words," this Dharma Devata looked at the Parikshit Maharaj and said, "See, your words are in line with the Pandava lineage. You are the best among the human beings, and it is difficult to say who is causing this suffering." Look at this, that Dharma Devata bull is saying, how can I say who caused the Dharma Devata? He is not telling this Kali has done this. He is telling, how can I say who caused the suffering? Many philosophers have said many things. Being a devotee, Dharma knew, without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, no one can inflict the suffering on anyone. Kali is merely an instrument. All sufferings are fructification of the past sins. I don't blame anyone. Can you believe that? Dharma Devata's 3 legs have been chopped off, and he is standing on only 1 leg, and this man goes and hits that 1 leg also. What a situation the Dharma Devata is in. When Parikshit Maharaj is asking, "Who did this for you?" he is not telling, "See, this man had done it." Could have been easier to say, "This man had done it." And that is what is the Dharma. See, because the mind is much more than what this gross world is. What we see is only gross. What is causing this gross action is the subtler cause. And what is causing this subtler cause is something higher, which will never be able to understand. We can understand only the law of the karma, whatever is said in the Shastra, but the Shastra also can explain only limited amount. What words can express is only limited amount. Just a tip of the iceberg. But the rest of it cannot be expressed in words. No matter what we do, we will never ever be able to know this cosmic secret, the cosmic law, how the cosmic law works. We will never be able to do that. So that is why in the beginning of the Bhagavatam itself, he said, don't put the blame on anybody because they are misbehaving. So when you think about it, and when we know we are all exposed to that little bit of what is happening around, it just makes me think, this is meant to happen, it is happening, but the torture is very, very difficult to take it. Okay? But at the same time, are we just going to leave it alone, thinking, oh, this is a Kali Yuga, oh, this is what is happening, oh, this is how the things are going to happen, there's nothing we can do? No, we have to act, because this is the opportunity Bhagavan had given to show us our dharmic nature. Do we stand with the dharma or not? Are we going to follow the dharma or not? Are we going to follow our duty given to us by Bhagavan? Okay, so that is why this Varnashrama Dharma, Kshatriyas are supposed to do something, they have to do it. Vaisyas are supposed to do something, they have to do it. Sudras are supposed to do something, they have to do it. Brahmanas are supposed to do something, they have to do it. Okay, there is a mix-up. That mix-up is okay as long as we follow the path of dharma. That's all Bhagavan wants. And we do it with a good intention. That's all Bhagavan wants. And he is the one who created all these situations. Because when we go for this exam, when we go for the physics exam, we are given various objects. So we just have to pick up a ticket and then see where it is. Then we have to go and stand there, and then we have to perform that activity, and then the marks are given according to that. So the same thing, certain situations are in front of us. Existence keeps throwing challenges at you for your own growth, for you to express the qualities in yourself, so that how compassionate we are, how beautiful we are, all those things comes out, and they are again going to the Akashic records. Okay, that nobody can hide it. Everything, whatever we say, whatever I do, whatever mistakes I make in the class also, they are going to the Akashic records. So we have to remember that Akashic records, and also remember what Dharmadevata said, don't blame anyone. So he is unwilling to blame anyone, and he says maybe it is one's own past doing, or maybe the supreme power is responsible, and the suffering is caused by the nature because of the cosmic law. So we are causing so much of damage to the nature. Okay, it is a collective damage. We are all part of it. They keep chopping the trees and making the furniture, and we keep buying the furniture, and we keep changing the furniture. So in that way we are also indirectly contributing for the destruction of the forests. So it is not that they have done it, we have not done it, no. It is the collective karma. And this collective karma only goes into the Akashic records, and that is why we never ever be able to understand, I have not done this, but why am I suffering? So the only thing we can do is to trust in the God. He is purifying me. I have performed so many actions. I was not aware. Without my awareness, I must have carried out certain actions which have directly or indirectly caused harm to the other human beings or other living beings or the environment, and I am ready to go through it. As a human being, I am limited. My intelligence is limited, and it takes many janmas for our intellect to mature. So I am in the process of maturing, but then I have to, every now and then I have to pay for my karma. So that when we take the things like that, our sorrow, our distress, when we face the challenges and fail, it doesn't bother us that much, because you are trusting God, you are trusting the cosmic law, and you are surrendering to the Bhagavan. So we don't really get distressed. So this, I felt, is a great lesson from the Bhagavatam, seeing what exactly is going on now. And he also says, fully surrendered devotees are under the protection of the Bhagavan, and he personally takes care of his pure devotees. He protects them, but at the same time, every now and then he gives a token of suffering. Okay, so now we know we are suffering. Okay, in spite of being a great devotee, we are suffering, because even though he is protecting, he always keeps giving the token of suffering for us to keep to purify us. Okay, so he gives a grace marks. So if I get 30% in somewhere, so he'll give around another 5% and try to pass me. So that is how it works. So, and also he puts us into doubt by giving these troubles. So when he puts us into doubts, an ardent devotee who is totally surrendered, he doesn't ask that question, why this is happening? Does God really exist? Does he really protect the devotees? So if he leaves us for our own karma, what is the point in doing all these sadhanas? What is the point in dedicating myself? I only know what is happening now, but I don't know what actually happens after the death. Who knows what happens after the death? Who knows whether God actually exists? Who knows whether he is going to take me to Vaikuntham or not? Who knows whether Vaikuntham actually exists or not? All these questions don't come if you are a pure devotee. If you are not a pure devotee, all the questions come. And if you are in the borderline and we want to become a pure devotee to earn the love of God and God realization, immediately, as soon as the doubt comes, immediately we will drop the doubt and say, yes, I have to work on this because I have not achieved that level which pleases God to bless me with God realization. So these tests are the ones, these are all like mock exams. So it helps us to look into ourselves and correct ourselves. So that's why it is very important to do introspection every single night. Every single night do the introspection. Where am I? How am I improving in various areas? And then Parikshith Maharaj, when Dharmadevata said all these things, Parikshith Maharaj was satisfied with the answers and said, see, he was only talking to bull. He didn't realize that bull is a Dharmadevata. But after listening to all these things, Parikshit Maharaj said, see, the way you are saying, you are undoubtedly Dharmadevata in the form of a bull. You know the deep meaning behind every event. If anyone thinks his suffering is because of such and such a person, he is ignorant. He is as ignorant as the other one. So as a devotee, you are ready to accept that all suffering is God sent. So because of this, you did not put the blame on the Kali also, even though he had been so cruel to you and to the cow. Because you have a deep meaning behind all these things, you did not put the blame on this Kali. And in Satya Yuga, you had 4 legs: austerity, cleanliness, and compassion, and truthfulness. So all these 3 slowly, one by one, were chopped off. In Satya Yuga, the austerities had gone. So austerities are very, very difficult. Okay. So, say in the Satya Yuga, one leg had gone. So in the Satya Yuga, austerities were the more. But then it austerities are very, very difficult, extremely difficult. If anybody is a bit crazy and I want to do that austerities, it is not going to work. It is just wasting their life away. Okay. So once I only asked Swamiji, they all did the tapas. I want to do the tapas. How should I do? So these things are given in the book. I want to do it. That was many years ago. No? So I was a little bit immature. So he said, look, in those days, they were all like elephants. In Satya Yuga, their intellect was like an elephant. But now we are all like mosquitoes. Okay. So if you say, I want to do that, do you think it is going to work? So only the seva and kirtana is going to work. Nothing else is going to work. You forget about everything. Okay. If you can't do fasting on certain days also, it doesn't matter. You cut down on the food and you stick to only fruits and the milk. You just do, because in Kali Yuga the bodies are very weak. We don't have stamina. So you do that. So that is what, so they could do it, and then so it has gone. So now we know we can't do all those things. So austerities are gone. And then Treta Yuga, cleanliness had gone. And in Dwapar Yuga, compassion. Okay. So we saw that in Krishna Leela, and also in the Hastinapura, what happened, there is no compassion. It's all just cheating and killing each other. Now there is only truthfulness is left over. He said, you are standing on your last leg, the truthfulness, which is the Satya. So you are just somehow you are managing to hobble along. But do you think it is going to last long? Where the people's mind is becoming quarrelsome, they are deceitful, and then he will destroy your last leg also. Now, have we not experienced that sticking to the Satyam also sometimes is difficult? When you are dealing with a ruthless person, what do? You tell a lie and then you say it's a white lie. But lie is a lie only, okay? So it is not a truth. A lie can never be a truth, no matter how much paint we put on that. Then if that happens, as long as it doesn't harm the other person, do prayaschitta afterwards. Okay, doing few malas or offering to some orphanage, because the children there, or any disabled organization, or any organization where there are a lot of people who struggle for food, who are destitute, desperate, give some offerings to them, so they will feed them. In that way, a certain amount of anointment is done. And then it says, it is not the duty, and also he says, it is not the duty of the God-conscious person just to sit quietly and look at it and allow the things to happen. Okay? So when the one Mahatma said, the time had come, in certain situations, we have to be like a Kshatriya, okay, to defend ourselves. See, in Kali Yuga, how much is happening, right? So Shastra says something, it's so wonderful, it's so nice, but then when it has come to Kali Yuga, it's very, very difficult with certain things. So that's why, you know, in when Sri Krishna, when Bhishma Pitamaha was on the Ampashaya, so they all went to see him, and after all the conversation and everything is over, Krishna had sent all the people away and he wanted to have a personal, he wanted to give some special time for Bhishma Pitamaha. So he asked Bhishma Pitamaha, "Oh Pitamaha, is there anything you want to ask me personally? You want that answer for that? You have any doubt in your mind?" For that Bhishma said, "Krishna, you were there. Is it a Dharma Yuddha?" Krishna smiled, and Krishna smiled, said, "Certain places I didn't follow the Dharma because these people were crooked. And if I follow the Dharma, the crooked will continue with this. So that is why I have to step in and do certain things to finish off the crooked." Okay. So if you just ponder over it, you please ponder over it for, it's very, very interesting. When you are pondering over it, you will recollect certain incidences in Mahabharata, how it happened. And very interesting, that Mahabharata, which I forgot the name, that great person who had done it over a series of many years. So it comes in the clips, 5-10 minutes clips. And I don't understand Hindi properly, so I did not watch the whole of series. But there's translation to the Telugu or Tamil. And I watched those clips, the certain events, how Ashwatthama Hataha, and what the conversation between Draupadi and Krishna, and the conversation between Bhishma Pitamaha and Krishna, the conversation between Karna and Krishna is extremely interesting. Okay, so you please see, we have got a human body and we should enjoy. Okay, we should enjoy the best things in our scriptures. So there is a lot to learn from that. Not only a lot to learn about the Dharma, you will just fall in love with Krishna, because the way he acted and the way he gave the answers, the problems, the way he explained the problems and the remedies for it, it will be amazing. That is how I fell in love with Sri Krishna. It's a Gita Krishna, okay? Radha Krishna is there, Gopi Krishna is there, so many Krishnas, Laddu Krishna, so many Krishnas are there. But it is the Gita Krishna I fell in love with. And that is how I have learnt a lot. And that is how I started studying Bhagavatam in depth. And the second time I'm going deeper and deeper into it. As I'm going deeper and deeper into it, I recollect a lot of those conversations which I've heard from Mahabharata about it. And that teaches us a lot also. And that also helps us to see what is happening in the world, which is very frightening. It's very frightening. It is very distressing. But we have to get the inner strength. You can't change what is happening around. We have to face it. How do we face it? We need the inner strength. Where do we get the inner strength? We get the inner strength from the Sri Krishna, not just by his teachings. With the teachings, your intellect will flower. But that doesn't give inner strength. What gives inner strength is the intense love for Sri Krishna. You have to fall in love for Sri Krishna. When you have that, you will experience his presence, the fullness inside. When you are full within, the fear doesn't occur. And then only when you are full, then we become a witness consciousness. We practice that witness consciousness. We practice that equanimity. We practice that sthita prajna state which Sri Krishna explained in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So, without love for Sri Krishna, things are not really going to happen that much in us. Okay, we might get about 60% marks, but the other, so we don't want to finish off with 60%, do we? So we want at least 99.5%. So for that, Krishna will help us out. Okay, so he said the God conscious person should not just keep looking at it and sit quietly. So he has to take action. So he took up the sword. Parikshit Maharaj took up the sword to chop out, to kill Kali, and Kali got frightened. Okay, and he immediately removed his royal garments and he stood in front of him in his true nature as a very low moral person who appeared low in his whole features. So he appeared and he got frightened. He realized Parikshit is going to kill me. Okay, so nobody wants to be killed. Even if you are bad, we don't want to be killed. So immediately he fell at the feet of Parikshit, and Parikshit, being a great devotee and a dharmic person who follows the rules and regulations of the war, if anybody surrenders, you should not kill them. So immediately then Parikshit said, okay, so you have surrendered to me with your folded hands. Now I won't kill you. But if I leave you alone in my kingdom, you have a very bad influence on them. You will create all these irreligious activities. And my kingdom is full of God conscious people, and they perform sacrifices according to the Shastras, and they follow the Dharma. You should not stay in my kingdom. You leave the kingdom straight away now. And then Kali says, where, see, you said you leave your kingdom, but the whole earth belongs to you. How can I leave your kingdom? When the whole earth is yours, where can I go and stay? So you please give me some places where I can stay peacefully. So then Parikshit Maharaj thought about it. Okay, right, so he is wicked. You cannot change wicked people overnight. So you should put them in a place where there is wickedness. So where is the wickedness? He said, okay, you go and stay in a place where there is gambling, where there is intoxication, prostitution, and slaughterhouse. And Kali felt, see, Parikshit Maharaj is cheating me. In his kingdom, there is no gambling, no intoxication, no prostitution, no slaughterhouses. So he is cheating me. And then so he asked, oh, please tell me, see, these things are not there in your kingdom. You have cleaned up everything. You please give me another place where I can stay. Then Parikshit Maharaj thought about it. And then he said, where there is a wealth, where there is a gold, the gold has got this mesmerizing effect. Gold makes the people become greedy. And if people are greedy, how can they earn? So they have to perform all kind of things. So that is a disadvantage with the greed for the gold. So he said, okay, fine. You stay in a place where there is a wealth and the greed. So then Kali agreed. to stay there. And slowly everything else started. Now what Parikshit Maharaj did was, so the gold is the worst thing. So he went to his kingdom, he collected all that illegally collected gold from everywhere, and he utilized it for the Sankirtana Yajna. He finished it off for a Sankirtana Yajna, thinking he used it for the good cause and he purified it. But did he actually purify it completely? No, he didn't purify it. Parikshit Maharaj went home, and one day he was going for a hunting. He wanted to go for hunting. So it is the duty of the Kshatriyas to do the hunting. One is to keep the check of the wild animals, otherwise they will break the villages and then they destroy everybody, eat the cows and the people and so on. So that's why they go for regular hunting, and also they will keep their they have to practice, right? So that is why he wanted to go. So he went. So while going, he had put a gold crown on his head and went. So he had put the gold crown and he went for hunting. And while hunting, he went with a group of his soldiers. So while hunting, he was chasing a deer, and he started going with the deer. He started chasing the deer. So he was moved away from his whole army. So he chased and chased and chased, and then the deer disappeared. And by that time, Parikshit Maharaj became very tired. It was afternoon. He was very, very thirsty and exhausted. So he was looking around for a water body, and there was no water. So when he was looking, he just saw a hut somewhere. So then he thought, okay, there is a hut here. I will go on, I'll get some water to drink. So he entered through the gate.